The city wakes up outside my window. From the 27th floor, the world is a river of steel and light, a hum of a million lives starting their day. It's a view I earned, a view I built. This penthouse apartment, with its minimalist elegance and silence that costs more than gold, is my sanctuary. But sanctuaries, I've learned, are often built on the ruins of other things. My name is Eleanor. And if you are listening to this, curled up on your sofa with a heart that feels too heavy for your chest, or driving somewhere with a pain you can't name clogging your throat, then this story is for you. I want you to know that the deepest cracks in your soul can, in time, become the very channels through which the light finally enters. It doesn't feel that way at first. At first, it just feels like breaking. It started as great downfalls often do, not with a bang, but with the smallest, most delicate sound. The sound of a hairline crack appearing in a priceless antique vase. A vase my husband Arthur had given me on our 40th anniversary, just 6 months before he was stolen from me by a swift and silent cancer. The crack was my life. And the hand that held the hammer was my son, Liam. You know, when a precious piece of porcelain cracks, we see it as ruined. Its value, its perfection is gone. We mourn what it was. We never stop to consider that the crack is now part of its story. It's evidence that it survived an impact. It didn't shatter, it held. And sometimes, if you fill those cracks with gold, the piece becomes more valuable, more beautiful than it ever was before. Remember that when you feel the first fissures appear in your own life. You are not being ruined. You are being remade. Chapter 1. The Golden Family After. Arthur was gone. The world lost its color. He was my anchor, my North Star. We built our life from nothing. 2 kids with big dreams and empty pockets, selling his handcrafted furniture and my knitted scarves at local markets. We started A&E Homestead, Arthur and Eleanor. It began as a small storefront, filled with the smell of sawdust and hope. 40 years later, it was a nationally recognized brand for sustainable, beautiful home goods. Our legacy, our greatest pride, we thought, was our family. Liam, our only son, with Arthur's kind eyes and a head for business I always admired. And Chloe, my sweet granddaughter, the light of my life. At 8 years old, she was all giggles and messy ponytails, a miniature artist who saw magic in everything. Liam had taken over as CEO after Arthur passed. I was the majority shareholder, but I'd stepped back. The grief was a physical weight, and running the company felt like trying to breathe underwater. Liam assured me everything was fine. "Rest, Mom. You and Dad built this. Let me take care of you now." And I, in my vulnerable, heartbroken state, believed him. The table was set with our best china, the set Arthur and I bought piece by piece from a flea market. Liam, his wife Anya, and Chloe were coming for dinner. Anya was always polished, a woman whose smile never quite reached her eyes, but she made Liam happy, and she was Chloe's mother. That was enough for me. "Grandma," Chloe burst in, a whirlwind of energy, and wrapped her arms around my waist. "I painted the sky for you." She thrust a vibrant, chaotic watercolor into my hands. It was all swirling blues and explosive yellows. "It's beautiful, my love," I said, my voice thick with emotion. "It's exactly how the sky feels." Liam kissed my cheek. "You look tired, Mom. You shouldn't have gone to so much trouble." "I'm fine, son. Cooking for my family feeds my soul." During dinner, the conversation turned, as it often did, to the business. "The board is pushing for more aggressive expansion, Mom," Liam said, swirling his wine. "The new Urban Oasis line is a hit, but we need capital. If we could just leverage your shares as collateral for a loan, it would secure the company's future." For Chloe, he always knew where to aim. For Chloe, "Liam, your father and I never believed in debt we couldn't see the bottom of," I said gently. "It's different now," Anya chimed in, her voice smooth as silk. "It's just business, Eleanor. Modern business. Liam is working himself to the bone. This would ease the pressure." I looked at my son. I saw the shadow of fatigue under his eyes, the weight of his father's legacy. My heart ached for him. "Let me think about it," I said. That was the first thread I pulled. Hope is a stubborn thing. It clings to the wreckage long after the ship is sunk. I hoped it was just ambition in Liam's eyes, not greed. I hoped it was concern in Anya's voice, not calculation. We see what we want to see in the people we love, because the alternative is too terrible to behold. Chapter 2. The Unraveling. A week later, Liam came to me with a stack of documents. "It's just a formality, Mom. The bank needs your signature as the primary shareholder. It approves the loan structure. It doesn't change anything." The papers were dense with legal jargon. My eyes, tired from a night of missing Arthur, blurred over the words. "Are you sure about this, Liam?" "Mom," he said, taking my hand. His hands were so like his father's. "Do you trust me? I would never do anything to jeopardize what you and Dad built. This is for us, for our family. The word was a key that unlocked every doubt. I signed. He hugged me tightly. "Thank you, Mom. You won't regret this." The changes were subtle at first. My monthly stipend from the company was a day late. Then a week. When I called the accounts department, I was told there were new protocols and I should speak to Liam. When I did, he was all apologies. "A glitch in the new system, Mom, so sorry. I'll have it sorted." The money would appear, but it felt like a favor, not a right. My invitations to company events dwindled. "They're so boring, Mom," Liam would say. "Just a bunch of suits talking numbers. You'd hate it." Then Chloe's visits became less frequent. "She's so busy with school and her new friends," Anya would explain over the phone, her tone dismissive. "You know how it is." I felt myself being gently, systematically erased from the picture. The crack became a chasm on a rainy Tuesday. I was looking for an old photo of Arthur for Chloe's scrapbook. Rummaging through the filing cabinet in his old study, my fingers brushed against a thick, unfamiliar folder. Inside was a copy of the documents I had signed, but this copy had post-it notes and highlighted sections. And next to it was a newer document. A transfer of shares agreement. My heart stopped. With trembling hands, I put on my reading glasses. The legalese suddenly became terrifyingly clear. The loan agreement I'd signed hadn't just used my shares as collateral. It had a clause, buried in subsection 12B, that in the event of a leadership-deemed financial restructuring, my shares could be temporarily reassigned to the acting CEO, Liam, to facilitate the process. Temporarily was not defined. He hadn't just borrowed against my legacy. He had stolen it. The room tilted. I gripped the desk, Arthur's desk, to keep from falling. The betrayal was so complete, so cold, it felt like all the air had been sucked from the world. There is a unique kind of pain that comes from a betrayal by blood. It's not like a stranger's knife. That you expect. This is like your own hand turning against you. The disbelief is a physical sickness. You retrace every word, every glance, looking for the moment the mask slipped. But the mask was never there, was it? You were just looking at the face you loved, and you failed to see the stranger lurking behind the eyes. In this moment, you have a choice: to crumble into the dust they've made you, or to decide that this is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of a different one, a fiercer one. Chapter 3. The gathering storm. I didn't confront him immediately. The old Eleanor would have. The mother would have called her son, weeping, demanding an explanation. But that woman was receding, and someone else, someone with a core of chilled steel, was taking her place. I hired a lawyer, a sharp, quiet woman named Sarah Jones who didn't flinch when I showed her the documents. "It's a predatory clause, Eleanor," she said. "But it's legally complex." He's been clever. A direct legal battle will be long, expensive, and public, and he controls the company's resources. "So, I'm powerless," I whispered, the words tasting like ash. "No," Sarah said, her eyes gleaming. "You are the majority shareholder on paper. He has to act as if you are. He has to maintain the illusion. That is his weakness. We need to be smarter. We need evidence, patience. I learned it then. It is not passive waiting. It is an active, simmering force. It is gathering your strength while your enemy celebrates his premature victory. I invited Liam and Anya for coffee. I played my part perfectly. The slightly confused, aging mother. Liam, dear, my bank statements are so confusing these days, and I haven't seen a company report in ages. I just want to feel connected to your father's work. He was smug, condescending. Oh, Mom, don't you worry your head about it. It's all very complicated. You just enjoy your retirement. Anya sat beside him, silent, a faint, victorious smile on her lips. I saw it then, the sheer scale of their contempt for me. They saw me as a relic, an obstacle they had neatly removed. My patience bore fruit in the form of a young, nervous man named Ben. He had been Arthur's protege, a brilliant designer now sidelined by Liam's focus on cheap, mass-produced replicas. He reached out to me secretly. Mrs. Eleanor, he said, voice hushed in a quiet corner of a public library. What Liam is doing, it's not just about the shares. He's gutting the company. He's cutting corners, using unsustainable materials, exploiting overseas factories. He's destroying everything Arthur stood for. The Urban Oasis line is a lie. He handed me a flash drive. Financial records, off-the-books accounts. He's siphoning money, preparing to sell the hollowed-out shell of the company and cash out. I held the tiny drive in my hand. It felt like holding a live grenade. Thank you, Ben. You're risking a lot. Arthur believed in me when no one else did, he said, his eyes glistening. This is for him. When you decide to fight, the universe has a way of sending you allies. They appear in the darkness, holding a single match. It is your job to have the courage to light it. Ben was my match. He reminded me that the world Arthur and I built wasn't just a business. It was an idea of quality, of integrity, of building things that last. And ideas are much harder to kill than companies. Chapter 4. The Reckoning. Sarah and I devised our plan. We wouldn't sue him. We would expose him. The annual shareholder meeting was in 2 weeks. Liam would be presenting his vision for the future. I still held the right to attend. The morning of the meeting, I looked at myself in the mirror. I put on the elegant deep blue suit Arthur had loved on me. I styled my silver hair. I looked every inch the founder. I was not a helpless grandmother. I was Eleanor of A&E Homestead. I walked into the boardroom, a place I hadn't entered in years. Liam was at the head of the table mid-presentation. He froze when he saw me. Anya, sitting in the observers section, went pale. Mother, Liam stammered. What a surprise. The floor is mine, Liam, I said, my voice calm and clear, carrying across the silent room. I didn't ask. I stated. I walked to the front. I plugged Ben's flash drive into the projector. For those of you who don't remember me, I am Eleanor. I built this company with my husband, Arthur, with our bare hands and a dream that was about more than profit. I looked at my son. His face was a mask of panic. You see, Arthur and I believed a home was built on a foundation of love and integrity. It seems our son believes it is built on a foundation of lies and greed. I began to click through the slides. The hidden accounts? The emails discussing the substandard materials. The plans to sell. The damning financial transfers. The room erupted in gasps and murmurs. This, I said, my voice breaking for the first time, is not the legacy of Arthur. This is a betrayal of it, and it is a betrayal of me. Your CEO obtained my shares through deceit and manipulation of a grieving widow. Liam shot to his feet. This is nonsense. She's confused. She doesn't understand modern business. Don't you dare, I whispered, and the room fell silent again, captivated by the raw emotion. Don't you dare treat me like I am a fool. I changed your diapers. I held your hand when you skinned your knees. I taught you about honesty. I know the difference between a balance sheet and a moral ledger. And yours, my son, is bankrupt. There comes a time when silence is no longer an option, when allowing someone to disrespect you, to diminish you, becomes a betrayal of your own soul. Standing up for yourself is not an act of aggression. It is an act of self-respect. It is saying to the world, and more importantly to yourself, I exist. My pain matters. My truth will be heard. Do not fear the confrontation. Fear the person you become if you avoid it. Chapter 5. Poetic Justice. The aftermath was swift and brutal. The board, many of whom were old friends of Arthur's, voted immediately to suspend Liam pending a full investigation. The legal proceedings that followed were a formality. The evidence was irrefutable. He was forced to return every single one of my shares. He was ousted from the company he had tried to steal, his reputation in tatters. Anya left him within a month. She had signed a prenuptial agreement, and with Liam's assets frozen and his income gone, she had no interest in staying for the for worse part. Her love, it turned out, had the same depth as her smile. But the true justice, the poetic kind that settles deep in your soul, came from Chloe. A small, folded piece of paper was slipped under my door one afternoon. In a child's messy handwriting, it was addressed to Grandma. "Dear Grandma, Mommy and Daddy are fighting all the time. Daddy is always angry. Mommy says he made a big mistake and hurt you. She said you were being mean to them, but I remember the day you didn't come for my art show at school. Daddy said you were sick. Was that a lie too? I miss you. I miss your stories and the way you make hot chocolate. I don't care about the company. I care about you. I love you. Chloe." I wept. I wept for the broken family, for the innocent child caught in the crossfire of adult greed. But I also wept with a fierce protective love. She had seen through it. She knew. I called Anya. It was the hardest, most necessary call I ever made. "Anya," I said, my voice steady. "This is between the adults. Chloe is my granddaughter. I want to see her. If you try to keep her from me, I will use every resource at my disposal to get full custody, and given the current circumstances, I will win. But I don't want to fight. I just want my granddaughter." There was a long silence. Then a quiet, "Okay," when Chloe ran into my arms the following weekend. It felt like my heart started beating again after a long, dormant winter. "I'm so sorry." "My darling," I whispered into her hair. "It's okay, Grandma," she whispered back. "Daddy did a bad thing, but you're still you." The simplicity of a child's wisdom. It can shatter you and put you back together in the same instant. Epilogue. The house that love rebuilt. It is a year later. I am back at the helm of A&E Homestead, not as a full-time CEO, but as a guiding force. Ben is the new creative director, and we are slowly, painstakingly restoring the soul of the company. Liam. He lives in a small apartment across the city. He works a mid-level job at a firm that doesn't know his history. We speak occasionally. The conversations are stilted, filled with the ghosts of what was and the heavy reality of what is. Forgiveness is a long road. I have forgiven him for my own peace, but trust is a different country, and we are not there yet. Perhaps we never will be, and I have made my peace with that too. But on this morning, Chloe is here. She's painting at the large window, capturing the city skyline in her own vibrant, unique style. The apartment is no longer just a silent sanctuary of expensive things. It is filled with her laughter, her art taped to the fridge, the smell of pancakes. I look at the antique vase, the one with the hairline crack. I had a Japanese kintsugi artist repair it. He filled the crack with lacquer dusted with powdered gold. It is now the most beautiful thing in the room. Not in spite of its crack, but because of it. So, my dear listener, if you are in the midst of your storm, if the betrayal is so fresh you can still smell the rain on the concrete of your broken heart, hear me. The pain will not last forever. I promise you this. The long, lonely nights will end. The ache will soften from a scream to a whisper. And then one day, you will realize you haven't heard it in a while. Karma never forgets an address. You don't have to deliver the justice yourself. Live your life with integrity. Tend to your own garden. The universe has a way of balancing the scales in ways far more creative and fitting than we ever could. Your greatest revenge is not their downfall. Your greatest revenge is a life lived well, a life of peace. It is waking up in the morning and feeling the sun on your face and knowing that your happiness is your own. It is unassailable. It is built not on the shifting sands of other people's loyalty, but on the bedrock of your own resilience and self-respect. You are stronger than you know. You have survived 100% of your worst days so far. You will survive this too. And one day you will look at your scars and you will not see wounds. You will see proof. Proof that you fought a great battle and you won. You won your soul back. Now go and build your own house. Make it beautiful. Make it strong. And fill it with light. Chloe holds up her finished painting. It's not just the city. She has painted the two of us, standing on the balcony, looking out at the world. And she has painted us with golden cracks running through us, shining brilliantly in the morning sun. Look, Grandma, she says, her smile brighter than any diamond. We're fixed, I take her hand. The city hums below us, a symphony of second chances. We are.